David, good
Hi
to
there.
see you. How's the last week been? Has it hit you that this will be your final game as the boss at West Ham?
A little bit, but we've had a good week. We've had good preparation, so all good as far as that concerned. And yeah, look, starts to hit on you that you have to clear your office out, etc., and make way for new people coming in. But that's fine. I'm happy with that.
Are you an emotional guy? We see one side of you, of course. We don't see you behind closed doors. Do you feel emotional going into this week?
I don't really feel emotional. I've been in and out of work at different times, but this time I'm happy to be stepping aside and pleased with the work I've done here at West Ham, and we'll leave with good spirits.
It's a great game to finish on, of course. Not many are giving West Ham United a chance, but what's your message to your players, and is there a belief that you can upset the odds?
Well, football's a strange game. You never know what moments are going to give you the opportunity to win, and we have to try and take those opportunities when we can. Look, let's be fair, it's difficult to win against Manchester City at any time, especially when they know that they've got to win a game to secure the championship. So that puts us under pressure because of what Manchester City can do, but also puts Manchester City under a little bit of pressure as well. So we have to do everything we can to try and play the game, concentrating ourselves. We're not playing to make Man City lose the Premier League, and we're not playing to make Arsenal win the Premier League. We're playing for West Ham, and we're trying to win the game for West Ham. We can't finish lower than 9th, which is a really good league position for West Ham in lots of ways. And I think the players and ourselves were all pleased with that situation, that no matter what the outcome, we're in a really strong position.
Dave, you say you're doing it for West Ham. There is your former captain who will probably keeping half an ear on what's happening at the Etihad in Declan Rice. Are any of the players or yourself almost like, let's try and do it for Declan?
No. No. Everybody here loves Declan. Everybody will remember him, but we're not doing it for Declan. We're doing it for ourselves, and we need to try and do the best we can. We concentrate and focus on what we're doing, and hopefully it works.
Premier League management for 2 decades and more. You're facing Pep Guardiola, one of the best. Where does he rank for the ones that you've faced over the years?
Well, look, he ranks right up with the best, if not the best. He's done incredible. He's transformed football in many ways for lots of people. He's been brilliant at what he's done. Really has been and remains to do so. I think there's a lot of talk about Jurgen leaving, and the disappointment that'll have in football. I think the quicker Pep leaves, then we'll all be a lot happier as well, because he's done such a good job. He's been so good, and everybody respects and appreciates the work he's done. His football's been excellent.
I know you've talked about wanting a break, and you're going to go to the Euros, and you've got various things planned, but has, if and when you come back to management, entered your mind at all at this stage?
Yeah, I've got lots of thoughts which might happen at the moment. I'm looking forward to the break, having some time off. It's an interesting period. What happens the minute you step aside. It's interesting the people who contact you and the things that are going on. So I'm very happy with the situation at the moment. I'm pleased for West Ham that we're leaving in good place, and I look forward to the next chapter, whatever that may be.
Final one for me, David. It's probably a question that you won't miss, and that is that the VAR is being assessed next month, and they're going to decide whether to keep it or not. From a personal perspective, where do you stand on it?
Unfortunately, I don't stand in really one camp or the other. I think VAR has been disappointing this season. I think generally, I think it's in the main, it's been a pretty disappointing season overall, with parts of the officiating which I think is caused that. VAR's come into that as well, and I think that I think it's probably right that there's a chance to hear what clubs think about it. My only thing is, I think there's been millions and millions of pounds put into it and for that reason I think that might make it quite difficult just to sort of rip it up and say we're not going to do it. But it's really something which you could have your own opinion. People are desperate their own opinion. I don't think it's making it a great spectacle at the moment. I think we're all disappointed. Every goal, even when we think it's a good goal, we're having to nearly wait on everything being clear before it's got the go ahead. So there's an awful lot of things not absolutely connected to VAR but connected to the game, which in the new way we're looking at it, which is making it not quite as exciting as it's been in the past.
Thank you.
Hi, David. Good afternoon. Jurgen Klopp once said, I think when he joined Liverpool, he said, it's not so important what people think when you come in, it's much more important what people think when you leave. So I was wondering, how do you think you'll remember your at West Ham?
Well, I hope within the training grounds, what really matters and what matters is the people who you work for. They're the ones who really count. And I think generally the people here, I hope, have enjoyed my company over the period. And I'll keep in touch with many of them. I'll watch their careers, I'll follow them. And also the staff here have been really good. So I've really enjoyed my time, I have to say, and hopefully the people working around here have enjoyed me being here as well.
3 times in a row in Europe and winning your European trophy last year. When you joined West Ham again 4.5 years ago, did you believe it's possible, and how proud are you of those achievements?
Extremely proud to say that we have given West Ham European football, because let's be fair, West Ham have not been a club who've been linked regularly with European football, and I think just to get those results over 3 years, the amount of games we've played has been huge. I think we've won more games than any other team in Europe this year. I think there's only maybe Aston Villa and Man City this year played more games in Europe than we have this year. So I generally, there's lots of things which show that's success, and also what it does is it's bringing in more finance to the club as well, because of the amount of games that they've had over the last 3 years.
50,000 West Ham fans stayed at the London Stadium after the Luton game to show their appreciation. How special and emotional it was from your point of view?
It was more special because we won. That was for me. It was really important that we won the game, and I think it was probably the same for the supporters. They want their team to win, and they appreciated the players, and thankfully stayed and sort of supported me as well. I have to say, I've had a great time. The supporters in the main have been brilliant. We've had days when we were at Lyon, and nobody else in the stadium, only West Ham supporters and myself in different parts. So we've had moments throughout the period which have really meant a lot. The weekend after Luton meant a lot, because it was a great reception I got with the players for hopefully all the season, and the other 3 seasons before that as well.
You could really help your former players, Mikel Arteta and Declan Rice, this weekend. I was wondering if you've ever been involved in such a dramatic game, the last game of the season, that you could impact the title race as a manager before somewhere else?
I couldn't really tell you. Maybe I have, maybe I hadn't. But over my time, you have that many games. But overall, we have to play for West Ham. We're not interested in people at other clubs. We're only interested in the ones who are here at the moment and, doing a job. I've got great respect for Mikel as a player and as a manager at the moment. He's doing a brilliant job at Arsenal. And I have huge admiration for Pep for how he works at Manchester City.
Hey, and Jamie, BBC.
Hi there, Jamie.
David, good to see you. Firstly, let's ask a little bit about this season, because you mentioned that you're pleased and proud that you're going to finish 9th in the table. We know that. You've had some European successes. How would you sum up the whole season? How would you sum up the way it's gone this season?
Brilliant first half to the season. We've tailed off in the second half of the season, but in the main we've probably been up between 6th and 8th for most of the season, 6th and 8th position for most of the season. So I think when you look at the teams who have finished above us, if you're talking about Newcastle or Chelsea or Manchester United, Arsenal, Tottenham, we'd love to finish above them, but I think if we're being honest, I think most people would probably say that West Ham finishing in that position might be where they were set out at the start of the season. You're always hoping you do better than people expect. The year we finished 6th, we finished above a lot of good teams. The year when we finished 7th, we finished above a lot of good teams. So this year's been an improvement certainly on last year. So I think it's been a good season for us.
We've chatted to some supporters supporters in the build-up to this game, and the general consensus has been you've been able to build West Ham as a club on and off the field in terms of what you've been able to achieve, challenging with the best in the Premier League, whilst also giving them Europe on a regular basis. I mean, that must fill you with pride.
Certainly does. I think that the big thing for me was actually nearly pulling a club back together a little bit more. No, off the field. On the field it had to be done, so the coach's job. But I think off the field as well. I don't think you're hearing the criticism which came from the stands on the board, for example. I don't think you're hearing criticism so much about the stadium and in different aspects of what's going on. I think the criticism, if anything, is that they want the team to be finishing 5th or 6th instead of 9th. But I understand that's football supporters. They always want more. But off the field, I think there's been a greater degree of stability, and I think from that point of view, I think everybody's much more happy.
It's a huge game for Manchester City. It's a huge game in the context of the Premier League. What's it like for David Moyes? Because you know that it's going to be your final game as West Ham manager. How can you approach it? How do you go into it? I mean, can you enjoy it? What kind of atmosphere is it going to be for you?
I'm really relaxed about the game. The players have trained well this week, prepared as well as we can for the game. But how could you ever be relaxed going in to play Man City? Because there's not another manager in the country who'd want to play Manchester City. So you have to take that and understand what that's like. You're playing against the best team who are incredibly good at keeping the ball off you, and you're going to have to do lots of work throughout the day without the ball. They've shown that. So we'll get ourselves as ready as we possibly can for it and put on a good show if we can.
And just finally, I mean, things change on a daily basis, I understand that, and you've got the Euros to look forward to, and then thinking about your future. Have you thought what you might do? Will you go into management again? Will you look to do different things? Because you've got so much to give to the game, haven't you?
Probably
Yeah.
answered that.
Yeah, I would just answer by saying is, yeah, look, I'm going to take a good break and see what I'm going to do. I have to say at the moment, I've got plenty of opportunities to do any one of those things you've talked about, and I'll make a decision in due course, but I'm not making it quick, that's for sure.